Hello and welcome to the Stools on Fools podcast. Psych, it's April Fools. My name is Kevin Walker, and as always, I'm joined by my co-stars Anthony Council and Cullen Brown. Today is Friday. Boys, this is April 1st. Today is Friday, April 1st, 2022. We hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day. If you have a great time and don't mind, please do post and share us and tell others about us. If you don't like what you hear, then simply tell no one. Boys, as I just mentioned, it is April Fool's. I hope none of y'all have any tricks up your sleeve planned to pull on me or anything like that. But I do have a question. What is, if y'all have any off the top of your head, what are some of your more memorable I don't think that's a word.
Remember, bro?
Yeah. I don't think that's a word.
Bro?
Memorable.
Do you remember, bro?
Your more memorable moments on April Fool's Day.
That's a tongue twister.
That is a memorable moments.
That is a memorable moment?
Memorable moments.
Is it that is a memorable moment, or it's just
I think we
memorable?
just created a memorable moment.
Yes, we did.
Yep. Oh, should we tell him?
Do we need to tell him?
We'll tell him after the podcast.
Okay.
So
But,
yeah,
I mean, it's really important, though.
I mean, it is. But I'm not going to tell him.
I mean, congratulations for one.
Yeah, thank you.
But like,
It's not that big of a deal.
but it is though. Like,
It isn't.
I guess I don't know what's going on.
like if this goes down, like this is like over.
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
I
what's
know.
over?
I know.
What's over?
This whole thing,
Yeah.
like the whole thing's over.
What's the thing?
Stools on Fools.
Well, what are y'all talking about?
So Cullen got a call from someone yesterday about a job.
I don't believe this because it's literally April Fool's.
No, seriously, like he got a job.
I need the proof.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. Blaine over at NTTV, he works at a sushi place over in South Lake. And my parents, believe it or not, love sushi. They went over there and they were telling him, that how parents brag about their kids whenever they have one too many adult drinks in them.
Mhm.
And they were sitting there and they were talking to him, and he works at NTTV.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were talking to him. They're like, hey, our son, is really into sports. And because they were talking about, obviously me and my brother. Like, yeah, our oldest, he loves sports. He's at the work radio station and everything. He's like, oh, well, actually, I'm planning on doing an internship over in Australia. And I was like, and, my parents were like sitting there like, oh, yeah. Apparently, the NFL does this thing where they go send out people over there to do promotional stuff to Australia. And they go out and they record like promo footage and stuff for the NFL. It's this whole weird thing. And so they were sitting there and they were discussing about that. And then he mentioned the fact that he also is at UNT and that he is a sports director over at NTTV. They're like, hey, son, send your LinkedIn information over. We'll see what we'll talk. And talk to Blaine. And gonna be potentially working at NTTV. Long story short. So we'll see what my schedule looks like in the near future.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So that didn't answer my question whatsoever, but it did take up all the time. So I suppose we'll just use that to segue into college basketball.
All right. Well,
Okay.
you guys ready?
Well, last episode, Anthony did all the statistical work and had everything ready. So, Anthony, do you want to start this off?
Yeah, of course. It is.
And we are starting with the women's today.
Yeah, it's Final Four time, right?
It is. Final Four is going on right now as we speak.
Right now, as we speak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the Stanford, the not the Stanford, the South Carolina Louisville game. It's on right now.
and March Madness is it's brought to you by from AT&T, right? Right.
Is it actually?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
But with March Madness, it's madness and it's crazy, right? And we have UConn versus Stanford and South Carolina versus Louisville, and I'm super excited. So, I'm just not in the right fit right now. And I know we don't have a camera, which is disappointing, but it's okay. But I'm just not in the right fit. So just give me 1 second. Just
Okay.
talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So we do have the Final Four matchup, obviously going on right now between South Carolina and Louisville. It's actually in the fourth quarter as we currently speak. South Carolina is up 59-50 with just over 7 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. South Carolina being the number 1 overall seed of the tournament. Obviously have one of the highest rated players in all of women's college basketball in Aaliyah Boston, a double-double machine, 6'5" junior, beast in the paint. Obviously, she's not the only one. She have many contributors. They're the number 1 net team in all of women's college basketball. They have an average scoring margin of over 20 points per win to South Carolina, shooting over 42% from the field. Opponents' field goal percentage is 10% less. I mean, it's absolutely. And there's Anthony. Okay.
It's March Madness, baby. It's March Madness, baby.
I don't know what that is.
It is a net
It is
hat.
a net.
Actual net hat.
It's a net hat.
Yes,
It does seem that way.
it is.
You couldn't get the camera working today, Kevin. You
It
couldn't.
wasn't my fault.
I mean, it kind of was.
I don't like that
It
you're
was
putting
wor-
the blame on me.
Well, it was working, and then you touched it, and now it's not working.
Okay, well, that's definitely not the truth. At least it's not splattered all over the floor.
Yeah, that's true. Unlike a Red Bull or something, but that's beside the point.
Oh, okay, I mean, we want to point fingers. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, we're speaking facts here. But, yeah, so we've got a very interesting one. South Carolina is, like I said, almost up by double digits currently. Well, they are up double digits now. They're up 11 with a little less than 6.5 remaining. I got it right in front of me too, Kevin. That's okay. Boys, what are we feeling about this game right now?
Look, so I'm just gonna go on ahead. So Emily Ensler, right, for Louisville, they got duos. They have a amazing dynamic duo on the Louisville side. Emily Ensler, I'm probably butchering her last name, Emily. She's a forward for Louisville. She has like 12 double-doubles right now, averages 2 blocks a game. She's phenomenal. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she already has a couple blocks right now on this game. Of course, I don't have it live with the stats, but I'll pull it up real quick. And obviously, for South Carolina, you got Aaliyah Boston, one of the best players in the W for women's basketball right now.
She has 18 and 18. Did I just read that right?
For who? Aaliyah Boston?
Oh my goodness. She came up a little gimpy on that last rebound, but if 18 and 18.
This is what I've been trying to tell you guys. Aaliyah Boston is the best player in this tournament right now. Literally the best player in this tournament. She's the double-double queen in this tournament, period. She averages a double-double. Literally averages a double-double. She has 27 double-doubles a game. She averages 12 rebounds a game, and she's 5th in rebounds this season in the entire women's college basketball just league, period. So having 18 and 18, it's no surprise for Aaliyah Boston. She did win Player of the Year as well as her coach also. And look, like I said, it's either going to be a dogfight for Louisville or for South Carolina. But South Carolina's looking like they're just taking the cake and walking the dog with Louisville right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 4 women in double figures. Aaliyah Boston, like you mentioned, leading the way. 18 points, 18 rebounds. It's absolutely insane.
Crazy.
I'm about to say, I don't hear that the entire episode. It just...
I don't know either.
As cool as it looks, it does not look very comfortable. Comfortable.
It's pretty comfortable.
Comfortable.
Dude, I can't speak today.
Vroom, vroom.
Comfortable.
Vroom.
By the way...
Yeah, Anthony's got a convertible on his head.
I did. Not anymore. I just got waves that are swimming.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice. So listen, I know, so we're going to let this game play on. Obviously, at the end of the hour, Anthony is going to do his little scores update. So I'm going to let him kind of talk about that. But is there anything else you want to add on to the game before we get into the other matchup of the Final Four?
All I would say is that it looks like South Carolina is going to be headed to the championship again.
Yeah.
And if they face and this leads up into our second matchup, if they face a Stanford team, that Stanford team is going to be hungry to go back-to-back. And South Carolina's already upset about losing to Stanford last year in the championship game for the tournament.
Could very well have a rematch.
Would not be surprising, except it's going to be a much more hungrier Aaliyah Boston. Very, very hungry Aaliyah Boston after losing. And after they won during the regular season to Stanford, if Stanford is in the final, well, not the final, in the championship game this upcoming Sunday. So And that leads us into the second matchup of the night tonight, the UConn Huskies against Stanford.
The Stanford Cardinal.
The Stanford Cardinal. You have stars all over the court for this game against UConn and Stanford. UConn, as you know, you have Ozzie as well as Paige Buckets. For Stanford, you have Haley Jones coming in just as the leader of Stanford. And it's going to be a dogfight for both teams. Like I said, it's going to be a star-studded matchup. Both teams are very, very, very good at their respected positions and their respected teams. But I just don't know who's going to win this game for Stanford and against the Huskies.
It's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, it will be. Like you mentioned some of the key contributors for both UConn and Stanford. Haley Jones for Stanford, UConn Paige Buckets, as we like to call her on the show. Cameron Brink also could be an X factor for Stanford.
Cameron Brink's going to be big. Cameron Brink's going to be big, especially down on the inside.
Yeah, two-time All Pac-12 selection, 2022 Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Listen, she's going to need to be at the dominant force if Stanford's going to pull this off. Now we are as the Stools on Fools today, or is it Fools on Stools?
Stools on Fools.
Yeah, it's Stools on Fools.
So Stools on Fools. We are going to be making our picks. Obviously, with Stanford kind of already underway, we weren't going to really pick Louisville. I don't think any of us were.
Yeah, we kind of disrespected them in the last episode. We didn't really give them a shot, so it's kind of upsetting.
Well, South Carolina's disrespecting them right now, so.
Yeah, 63-54 right now.
And also for UConn,
which, to be completely honest, I didn't really expect them to get that much. So
your girl, Anthony, Ozzie.
Yeah,
Ozzie. Oh man,
freshman.
Yeah, was the national or high school Gatorade Player of the Year as a sophomore, #1 overall recruit in her class. Listen, Paige is going to do her thing, I feel like, in this game, but she's going to need the other supporting cast to step up as well. Ozzie Fudd being one of those key contributors. And listen, if we're really sitting here, and when you're asking me today who I'm picking, I got to roll with Paige Buckets. I got to roll with Paige on this one. I think Stanford can put up a serious fight. I think it'll be a close game. I definitely think it'll be closer than South Carolina, Louisville as of this moment. But I'm gonna roll with Paige and UConn and that dynasty to, get another shot at the championship.
Cullen always talks about teams being battle tested. I think with UConn, not only losing Paige in the season and then getting her back, I think that UConn has been as battle tested as battle testing can be.
Yeah,
that's a fair. Yeah, I'll
say
that's fair. Yeah,
and because honestly, after they lost Paige, they kind of started falling, and then they kind of found their way again and picked themselves back up, and then Paige came back.
Yeah.
So, I would put my faith in UConn.
Yeah.
UConn, they took the win over an amazing North Carolina State Wolfpack team.
Yeah.
In double OT, which was incredible. And yes, we know, like I said in the last show, Paige came out with that clutch gene against NC, and she was able to shoot a couple threes and hit a mid-range, which really got the win for the Huskies, as well as UConn just being able to break that press break. But look, for Stanford, you have two players who are two of the best players in this tournament right now, and they're on the same team. Like you said, Cameron Brink, Haley Jones. Cameron Brink averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds, and Haley Jones averaging 3 assists. And don't forget about Lexi Hall, who averages 2 steals a game, and right back to Lexi Brink, but Cameron Brink with 2.6 blocks. She's going to be a force on the inside.
Yeah,
and I get it. You have Edwards, right? You have Edwards there for UConn, but it's going to be a battle between a couple guards. I would say it's going to be a battle between Paige and Haley Jones, as well as Edwards and Cameron Brink, because both of them are going to be very much battle tested, because Edwards is able to get on the inside very easily. She is one of the best on the inside when it comes to her footwork, when it comes to moving around the paint when a defender's on her, and she's able to get easy buckets, as well as if Stanford decides to come in a press break, we already seen UConn break that press break for NC State, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did the exact same thing against Stanford.
Title for hour 1, battle tested. We
Yeah.
use that phrase a lot here in the opening minutes. Just wanted to point that out. But so just for the record, I'm going with UConn. Kevin, did you make your official pick?
Yeah, UConn for
So
sure.
you're going UConn. Are you going Stanford?
I'm going Stanford.
Okay, so you're going Stanford. So for the record, your championship matchup will look different than me and Kevin's.
Right.
But we are going to make our picks today because obviously the championship game is this Sunday. Make sure to tune in. We know the Foolies and the Fools, or I guess we're the Stools now because the Stools comes first.
The Stoolies.
So the Stools will watch the game.
Stoolies, yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Stoolies.
the Stoolies
Okay.
will watch the game.
Yeah. So we'll be sitting there watching it. Me and Kevin will obviously predict UConn and South Carolina. You will pick Stanford, South Carolina.
Yep.
Anthony.
So Anthony's got the rematch.
So Anthony, since you are the quote unquote odd man out, why don't you give us your kind of insight into a potential Stanford, South Carolina matchup?
So, like I said, this Stanford-South Carolina matchup is going to be a big one if it does happen. Yeah, I mean, look, Aaliyah Boston, she already has 20 points right now. She's 7 for 11 from the field. I mean, she is hungry for a win to win this entire thing. She's going to be a star in the WNBA. We already know that. A lot of these stars are going to be superstars in the WNBA. We already know that as well. But this squad for South Carolina, I mean, they've played this Stanford team before, and they've seen what they're able to do, and they're going to watch film on this UConn Stanford game, so they're prepared for what comes up, for what comes next, right? And I mean, for Stanford, they just got to play their brand of basketball. Haley Jones is going to do what Haley Jones is going to do, and Cameron Brink is going to be a body on the boards. She's going to get boards, and she's going to try to kick it out to Haley Jones and some of her other teammates like not Cameron Brink, like Lexi Hall, you know? And I think South Carolina is going to be able to get the win for this championship matchup. And it's just Aaliyah Boston, man. That's really all I can say. Aaliyah Boston's on a mission this tournament.
So you're going with South Carolina to win it all.
I'm going with South Carolina this time.
All right, Kevin, you want to kick it off, or do you want me to start?
Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So me and Kevin both have UConn winning the matchup against Stanford. That will be happening later tonight. Hopefully, we'll be able to give you some score updates by the time this episode is over. I do think Paige, ultimately, her kind of just energy, her just never say die attitude, her playmaking, just everything about her, I think is great. She also, I just want to point this out for the listeners listening into the podcast, she recently signed an NIL deal with Chegg to partner up and deliver 6,000 free meals to students all across the country that are dealing with hunger issues. I just want to give her a personal shout out. Because again, athletes don't have to do this, but Paige ultimately,
Especially college athletes.
yeah, absolutely. And, NIL deals, there's a lot of different ones out there. And Paige took the time to
And there's a lot of different ways you can use that money.
exactly address, it's just an issue that may not be the first one that you think about every morning. So
Yeah.
shout out to her. I do think that UConn will win in a potential matchup, though. However, against South Carolina, I'm worried because I do think Paige would show out in that game. I think Paige versus Aaliyah would be something that would sit there and we would have a nice back and forth sequence. I think they could go blow for blow, so to speak, going back and forth. However,
But it depends on the cast.
and I think South Carolina has the better overall team this year. I think they've been more complete top to bottom. They've been more consistent start to finish. And I do agree that Aaliyah Boston is not going to shy away. Neither is Paige. But I just think the overall depth and the overall team cohesion, I guess you could say, of South Carolina is going to prevail. I am also going to pick South Carolina to win the Women's National Championship.
Yeah, Don Stanley is a phenomenal Hall of Fame All-American coach for South Carolina. And if it is Don Stanley against Gino in a UConn South Carolina matchup, I'm still sticking with Don Stanley. The way she's able to gather the troops and the way that they're able to listen and execute the way that they're supposed to and the way that she wants them to is phenomenal. They trust her as a coach. She's a player's coach. We all know that if you don't know, she's a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, winning 3 as a player and 1 as a head coach. So she has experience on a lot of different levels. And she's already faced. Well, I'm not saying that they've faced for my pick. She's already faced a Stanford team already, and I believe also faced a UConn team. But however, we all know that Paige Buckets was not playing during that time, and now facing UConn, if they do face UConn in the championship game, yes, you're gonna have to do some adjusting because you have Paige out there and Ozzie and Edwards and that whole squad out there. But I don't think it's going to be hard for them because they adjust very easily, and that's one thing that head coach Don Stanley has been able to do is to adjust and to be able to manage her players and adjust with the different play styles from each team. It's like she's playing chess out there while the other players while the other coach might be playing chess.
You mean chess versus checkers?
Chess versus checkers.
I knew
yes.
what you meant, but I just want to say for the record, yes.
I appreciate it, yeah.
Okay, Kevin, why don't you give your insight into the women's Final Four?
I think so. I think South Carolina wins it as well. But if it does, I don't think it really matters who they go against, honestly. I think they're just better overall. And then to throw in Aaliyah Boston into that mix is just nasty. So it's like, I think it would only be right for head coach Don Stanley to just go out on the win. And correct me if I'm wrong, her going to men's college basketball to coach, that's history being made, correct?
Yeah.
In terms of like what a potential
like a female head coach coaching a men's team and on the men's side.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe that's history.
It was for the Spurs, I believe. I believe it was for the Spurs.
No. I'm saying
he's saying for potentially becoming a head coach in men's college basketball. Whether that would be the first is what he's asking.
Oh yeah, that would be the first. But I'm just saying because she was with the I think the Spurs organization at one point.
Yeah, I think she was.
Mm-hmm.
But she's gonna go be the head coach at. Oh my goodness! I saw it about a week or so ago. I can't remember the team though. I know Cullen's going to pull it up.
So Don Stanley's going to leave South Carolina?
Yeah, she's taking a job with Kansas State, I think, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's Kansas State.
If it is Kansas State, that's huge. That is huge.
Cullen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she's going to Kansas State.
I'll look that up in a second. Former WNBA guard Tamara Moore reached new highs when she was hired as the men's basketball coach at Mesabi Range College in Virginia, Minnesota, and that was in 2020.
Okay, so she wouldn't be the first.
Yeah.
Still history. Nevertheless, it's always good to see a woman or a female head coach of that success and that caliber go over to the men's side, I think. I think that's definitely the progression that you want to take to getting to the ultimate destination, and I think that would be either the NBA or the WNBA.
Yeah, first of all, you were talking about the NBA at first, and I was like, that would be huge if she...
Well, no, it would be huge either way. Yeah,
right.
I completely agree.
Right. I'm looking up, so you said Don Stanley in Kansas State? Is that what you said?
I think that's what it was.
Kansas State. Apparently it was a fake tweet.
Got duped again. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. Apparently it said it was a fake tweet. Apparently. That's the first thing that popped up. Looking it over, K-State women's basketball is finalizing a deal.
Looks like a fake tweet. Tweet, Don Stanley to K-State as men's basketball
I mean, I'm
coach.
seeing it on boards and stuff, but did you just get April Fooled on April Fool's?
He got April Fooled. He definitely got April Fooled.
Maybe I did.
Oh, good Lord. Kevin.
Man.
Can't be having this, man. Can't be letting the Stoolies down, man.
That's crazy. But to move on from this matchup, like they said, you guys have a UConn South Carolina matchup with Gino and Don Stanley, which is going to be phenomenal if it happens. I have a Stanford versus South Carolina rematch, which is going to be very exciting. Either way, tune in to the women's game this upcoming Sunday and tonight, as well as it is Final Four and March Madness weekend. Tune into the women's championship this upcoming Sunday. It's going to be a very exciting one, but now we're going to transition from the women's side to the men's side. We have Villanova versus a very athletic Kansas squad, as well as Duke versus the Tar Heels of North Carolina, the 919. guys, I'm very excited about both of these matchups. Cullen, which way do you want to go first? I'll lob it to you. Which one do you want to go? You want to go Kansas, Villanova, Duke, NC? Which one?
Well, before we get into the individual matchups, I just want to point this out because I'm not sure the people that are going to be watching the games this weekend and on Monday, whenever the championship occurs, realize this statistic. These 4 programs have combined for 7 of the last 13 national championships
Yeah.
in college basketball.
Yeah.
7 of the last 13.
Kansas won in 2008. North Carolina, they won. I don't remember the year, but they did face Villanova.
Yeah.
After that shot,
Nova's won 2 with Jay Wright.
Yep, they have.
Duke's won 1 recently.
Yep, they won with that dynamic squad of Okafor, Tyus Jones, and Justice Winslow against Frank the Tank. And North Carolina, they've at least been to the championship. They've won, obviously.
Kevin, are you doing all right over there, man?
I'm a little upset.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, listen, April Fools.
You got fooled on April Fools.
April
It wasn't
Fools.
even that. Like, I read the tweet like a few weeks ago.
I was talking about the opening soliloquy I had. April Fools.
It was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh yeah, I figured you wouldn't go to.
Well,
NTTV.
actually, it wasn't. Well, it wasn't completely untrue. The only untrue part about it was,
the going to Australia part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you took a while. to come up with
he's
it.
going somewhere. I just can't remember the location, and I am wanting to talk to him just to get more experience. But I'm not leaving the Fools on Stools podcast. Are you crazy?
Yeah, I know.
Come on now.
I know better than that.
I just listen. You get riled up sometimes. I was looking for a reaction, but listen, hey, April Fools, you gotta love it. Anyways, getting back to our regularly scheduled programming. You asked me what matchup I want to get into. I am gonna go with the matchup that is maybe not the most hyped out of the Final Four. I'm gonna go Villanova, Kansas. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. I really do feel for Jay Wright and Villanova in this one. They are down 2 key contributors, unfortunately, going down due to injury this late in the season. It really is unfortunate for them. It looks like Bill Self in Kansas does have a somewhat fairly realistic shot of making the Final Four this year.
Or somewhat fairly.
National championship, obviously, not Final Four, excuse me.
What do you mean somewhat fairly shot?
Like fairly sure. I
The
didn't mean to say shot.
roster is stacked.
Listen, Kevin, can we just please sit here and give respect where respect is due? Listen, I respect Villanova. I respect everything about their program. I just don't want to bury them today because, again, under normal circumstances, I think this would be a really great matchup for the Final Four. And listen, if Nova somehow comes out and pulls out a miracle, we'll be having a completely different story. I just don't think with the level of Kansas's play that it's going to happen. Ochai Agbaji, the Big 12 Player of the Year, does a little bit of everything for this team. He is the engine that makes Kansas as gone this year. It's a big reason why they're the last Big 12 remaining school left. We've talked about the Big 12 unanimously all year. Baylor, Kansas, Texas Tech, Texas, all those guys, right? And listen, I think Kansas, their strength is they're an experienced team. They got 4 seniors, a junior, and 2 sophomores in their 7-man rotation. They're going to be really well coached by Bill Self. They're going to be really knowledgeable. I don't expect them to have any of those like mind-boggling mistakes we see college basketball players have sometimes during these games. And we are making picks for the men's side along with the women's as we did earlier. But I'm going with the Kansas Jayhawks, unsurprisingly, to reach this one out. Shout out to you, though, Jay Wright, the fact that he was able to get these guys to the Final Four. But I am going with Kansas.
Yeah, and I completely agree. That team, Kansas, is one of the most complete teams in this whole entire tournament. They've been able to create their own shots. They've been able to play hard-nosed, physical defense on the inside. Like I said, with that killer 6th man of Martin, very, very lethal. He's going to be a sneaky player whenever they play Villanova. I think that Villanova is not going to be able to. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not going to be able to manage it. They're not going to try to sustain him, but he's a very streaky, sneaky player. And when Kansas brings him out, like I said, he's able to shoot the 3. He's able to shoot the mid-range. He has handles for days and get in where he fits in with Kansas. They have. And there's really nothing else you can really say. They're one of the most complete teams in this tournament. And I'm going with Kansas too. Just with offense and defense alone, Kansas just looks like the most complete team on paper and on the court. The way they were able to manage and defeat who'd they play? I'm blanking.
You're saying Kansas or Villanova?
Who they played last?
I'm asking Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas.
The
Kansas.
Miami.
Yeah,
Miami,
the way
Miami.
the way
Okay.
they were able to defeat Miami. Yes, it was a close. It wasn't a close game, but the way Miami really only had one guy to initiate their offense, and Kansas had like 4. They had 4 different players shooting from every angle and getting on the inside. Kansas just looks like the most complete player, and I think they're going to make it to the championship.
Kevin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. I mean, I think I do have to pose the question. Villanova being fully healthy, having everybody that they're supposed to have and everything that they need. How do you think that matchup goes in that case?
Listen, Colin Gillespie, their Big East Player of the Year, Villanova's leading scorer, 15 points a game. If he, again, had his full set of guys, I think it's a coin flip, honestly. I really do. You could have gone either way, and I wouldn't have been mad at you. Again, I just think that the fact that, losing the injuries to Justin Moore due to an Achilles injury, and then Caleb Williams also can be stepped in the starting lineup, but losing him and Jay Wright sitting there saying, like, we're down to a 6-man rotation. It's just going to be so rough for Villanova to keep up with a team like Kansas. So I just don't see it anyway happening.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, Ochai Agbaji is just tremendous when it comes to.
I mean, Kansas depth is just their depth is just ridiculous this year.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're solid on all sides from top to bottom.
All right, so we are all picking Kansas. Correct?
Yeah, Kansas, and then
hey, listen, let's let the man.
let's let
the man.
Yeah, let's let him.
Let's let the man introduce this next match.
Anthony, it's Duke, right?
So, this next matchup is one of the hardest matchups that I've ever had to choose from. We're going with Coach K's Duke Blue Devils and Hubert Davis and the Tar Heels. We all know Coach K's legacy. We all know how Coach K likes to play. He is a player's coach, and when it comes to coaching, it's not just about basketball, it's about life as well. And the same goes with Hubert Davis, as we know that this is his first year playing, coaching, whatever. First year coaching the Tar Heels. He's done a great job from top to bottom. I know I'm kind of sounding like Kevin with going on a spiel and not picking a team, but I am decked out in my 919 North Carolina Tar Heel gear. We got the jacket, we got the 11s, we got the socks, we got it all. And looking at the roster, top to bottom, there's something about, Bangkok, man. That man on the inside, the way he had a double-double last game, and I believe he had at least 22 or 18 rebounds in one game, and the way that they were able to fight to get into the Final Four was something else. So I just got to go with the Tar Heels, man.
Fair enough, Kevin.
So I kind of want to, I think as people know, I am the uneducated college basketball fool on the podcast.
So you're uneducated, but you go to North Texas and are getting educated.
No. Like I'm talking about like the college basketball history and March Madness and the whole 9 yards.
Gotcha.
That's why he goes to all the UNT games to get educated on college basketball.
Yep.
Okay.
So I did my homework. I did some podcast searching. I did some article searching. I did my homework. Boys, this is an insane matchup. The fact that this was placed in the hands of
the college basketball gods just delivered this down to us.
Sure. You know what? Sure. Go with it. So not only is this the first time in college basketball history that they're meeting in the NCAA tournament, nevertheless, in the Final Four.
Got a little Geico ad there.
Yeah, a little backup noise over there.
Sorry, it was a gecko from Geico.
So, but it's also the 100th meeting. This is going to be the 100th meeting between Coach K and the Tar Heels.
Okay. So it's Coach K. And
Do y'all want to take a guess on what that record is? Keep in mind, they've only played 99 as of now. This will be the 100th game.
Right.
Coach K's record is a lot higher than North Carolina's.
I want to say more often times than not. I'll go Coach K.
50-49. Coach K.
Yep.
Barely. I knew it was close.
So this is either going to go one way, and that is the Tar Heels way, and it becomes 50-50, or Coach K gets the last laugh, and he walks away 51-49. And, boys, this is just the fact that, like I said, this was just put into the hands of college basketball in his final year, all the anticipation, everything that's happened this year, all to get to this moment. I would almost be willing to say that the North Carolina Duke matchup might actually have more views than the championship game itself. There's a possibility.
That's fair.
The Duke.
So which
blew
one are
up.
you picking though, Kevin? You can't be stalling around these questions.
I'm trying to April Fool's you. I'm trying to do the stat work over here.
You're trying to April Fools me.
Yeah,
You're trying to April Fools me. You're not April Fools me. You're delaying time. Make your pick, Kevin Walker.
Walker Kevin.
I know everybody hates Coach K. Everybody don't like him. Nobody likes him. It's all good. I understand
love
it.
Coach K.
Well, there's a lot of
met
people
the man,
that there's a
shook
lot,
his hand, you know,
but there's a lot of people that want to see him lose this last game, and I think that just gives him all the more power. I'm picking Duke.
Yeah, especially that team that's like 8 miles up. You know, they're light blue. You know, they have an N and a C, and they're Tar Heels. They're like 8 miles up the street from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that team don't like him at all.
Okay.
No.
All right. So look, we've heard from Kevin. We've heard from there's just the representative of everything Carolina.
Everything Carolina.
Now, if Coach K was to ever listen to this episode, Anthony, I do think he would be a little upset with you.
Well, he'd be a little confused.
He would
He'd be like, "Hey,
because
so
you were supporting him on one, and then now you're rocking the light blue today. It's a little confusing for
It's
us.
very confusing. Good thing we don't have a
it's all good.
camera.
It's true. It's very true.
It's all good.
Listen, Coach K is obviously going to be, I think, with respect to Hubert Davis, the best coach in this matchup. Not just because of his years of experience, but overall, listen, we don't know what Hubert Davis is going to be, but Coach K is arguably the greatest college basketball coach ever. Arguably, he's in that discussion. Coach K, over 1,100 wins in 46 years as a head coach. 5 national championships, 6 gold medals as a head coach for the United States men's national team. He also has the best player in the matchup in Paolo Banchero. Listen, North Carolina does have some dogs, as Anthony has alluded to, but Paolo Banchero is a future top 3 overall pick in this upcoming NBA draft, and I do think that he is going to have a show. And we're sitting here, and I remember, because before we did this podcast, I went back and I watched the last game of the regular season, the highlights between North Carolina and Duke.
What a game.
And Duke, and I saw the post game where, you know, Krzyzewski was talking to the fans and he was upset, and you know, he was embarrassed, he was upset. I mean, he was really passionate. You could still tell that he cares. And I was sitting there, and like my brain and everything is telling me North Carolina's going to win this matchup. But like in my gut as a sports fan, if North Carolina were to not only knock off Coach K in his last game at Cameron Indoor, his last game in the regular season, and then go somehow find a way to somehow get into the Final Four and play him again,
he's not going to lose again.
It's unfathomable to me. So like my brain again is saying North Carolina, my heart is saying Duke in a weird way, because I never thought I'd say that sentence. So I guess I'm going with Duke. I'm going with Duke in this game. I would be very surprised if North Carolina does win, but I just can't. I can't picture a world where North Carolina just owns Coach K like that. I just
Not
can't.
twice.
Not twice. So I'm gonna go with Duke. I could be very wrong, but
with that being said, this game.
So me and Kevin again picked the same final matchup, and you're on an island again.
I am.
All right. So do you want to lead us into the final matchup predictions real quick before we round out college basketball?
Yeah. So the final matchups of college basketball.
Yeah, the final. The national
final.
the national championship, the final matchup. Yes.
The final matchup.
Yes.
Oh
the
my
national
gosh.
championship is the final matchup.
Which for you would be North Carolina and
No,
Kansas.
I know. I'm just fathomed that we're almost done with March Madness, guys.
I know.
That's why I was like the final.
It is.
Really? It's crazy.
I still remember our March Madness episode, but
I do too. But to go on to our
How
final
bad that
matchup.
bracket was.
yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone's bracket was destroyed. So the final matchup for me is North Carolina versus Kansas, and I think Hubert Davis gets his first national championship win in his first season with the Tar Heels. I mean, look, Kansas has a great squad. You know, they're coached very well, you know, by a Hall of Fame coach. I just think that Hubert Davis and Bancott and that whole entire squad that they have at North Carolina, the way they're able to play, the way that they are able to not only, you know, go inside, but have a big man, I forget his name, but have a big man who's able to come outside and shoot the three with ease. You know, not a lot of teams have that. And of course you need that in the league, but North Carolina has that. And just the way they've been able to play very streaky, very together, really let Hubert Davis take the lead and listen to him as well. I think North Carolina's gonna take the win. But to be honest, in this final matchup, I think that even if Duke were to win against North Carolina's gonna be having a party. Period. In like North Carolina's gonna be having a party. I think whether it's Duke or North Carolina, they're gonna win.
Fair enough. Okay, Kevin, you want to go ahead, sir?
So basically, I'm gonna just keep it short and sweet. If Duke, I think it really just depends on how Kansas could win. I say this because depending on how Kansas does against Villanova, it could give them the confidence going into this game like, hey, we are unbeatable.
Mm.
And with all the anticipation for this Duke-UNC matchup, it could take everything out of the players. We could have a 2 overtime game for all we know.
Mm.
And we could, I mean, God forbid, we could have an injury. You know, like this game could take a lot out of either Duke or UNC. But Kansas, as we've talked about, kind of has the easier road.
Yep.
So depending on how big of a win Kansas could get, if they get a 15-point victory and they walk in, they could feel like they're on top of the world and take this thing by storm, to be completely honest with you. So, I mean...
Who are you picking, Kevin?
I mean, it really just depends. But I guess I have to. So...
You gotta make a call right here.
I'm going to say Kansas.
You're going to go Kansas. The Jayhawks get their second or fourth national championship in total, but second in as many years for Bill Self. You're going with Kansas.
I'm going with Kansas.
All right. So we're sitting here, and I've thought about this long and hard because I do think Duke is, again, I just can't see a world where Duke, loses to North Carolina twice. If Duke sits there and does win this game for Coach K, it might just be a team of destiny, boys. Like, they've had so many close encounters. They've had so many just moments where it looked like it could be the end for them to fight back. And I think Coach K gets number 6. I do. I think Coach K, Paolo Banchero, lead Duke in one of the more talented teams that Coach K's ever had in his last walk-off season. I think that Cameron Indoor, speech and everything, I think propels them all the way to the national championship over Kansas. I'm going with the Blue Devils.
It's very fair. Very fair.
So, moving on though, because we have been talking a good amount about college basketball. We got some more basketball to talk about, but it's going to be in the association. Last night, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets had one of the best games I think all year. Safe to say.
Yeah.
A 120-119 win for the Milwaukee Bucks over Brooklyn. Giannis Antetokounmpo did knock down both free throws at the end on a, we'll say, somewhat controversial foul call at the end. And Kevin Durant's obviously last failed attempt was no good for Brooklyn. Kevin Durant had 26, 11, and 7. Giannis was sitting there doing his thing, dominating as the Greek Freak, had 30-plus and over 10 boards in the win for Milwaukee. Boys, I've had this talk with plenty of people that I watch basketball with. I've talked to Anthony off air about this. I've talked a little bit with this with you, Kevin. The best player in the world, again, I one of my rules in sports is I don't let a regular season game change that magnitude because I truly don't think that title should be changed unless it is in the postseason. And I still do think Kevin Durant is the best basketball player in the world. But man, oh man, is Giannis making it tough for me to say that sentence.
Man, ain't that the truth?
I think I've been saying it all year.
Jeez. It is. Listen, I know we're going to be talking a lot about how, maybe Joel Embiid, we had talked about the Joker. We talked about Steph. We've got some Luka fans on the show. We're going to be talking about Luka. We've mentioned Jason Tatum. We've mentioned Devin Booker. Giannis at this moment deserves the MVP. I'm just going to say it. Giannis, what he has done consistently in big moment games, having the block against Joel Embiid at the end of the Philadelphia 76ers game, the way he ended last night's game against Brooklyn in big spots. Listen, Giannis is top 3 in scoring in the league. He's got the Milwaukee Bucks to a top 3 record in the East. He is one of the more complete two-way players in the game of basketball. I think he is the second greatest basketball player in the world. And again, we talk about him because Milwaukee, again, they just slide under the radar. They just kind of do their thing. They're just the defending champs. Giannis is the defending Finals MVP
And 2-time MVP back-to-back, basically.
Yeah, and a former Defensive Player of the Year. Giannis had over 44, 14, and 6 last night. Listen, I truly think right now, if we had to sit there and pick MVP today, I'd go with Giannis.
If it's not Luka, I'm okay with it being Giannis, to be honest. I mean, Giannis has just been, we talked about it a lot last episode. Giannis has just been so dominant. And for him to play with that kind of energy and that revenge motivation after winning the MVP in the finals, that's just a scary mindset.
Yeah. Like, he looks like he's still hungry.
Yeah.
Like, he's still pissed that he
Like,
isn't getting the respect that he deserves.
If you saw the Bucks this year, you wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, that's the team that won the championship last year because they are all out.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, they're just consistent.
Yeah.
They're just consistent. And yes, Giannis is an amazing player. Top 3, top 5 best players in the league right now. But you're acting like Joel Embiid is not averaging like 30 points a game and like a double-double, basically averaging 11 rebounds as well.
All I know is Milwaukee beat them. They're higher than them in the standings, and Giannis himself is top 3 in scoring, whereas Joel Embiid is not at the moment.
I think Giannis is better, but that's just me personally.
Hey. Look.
I know Anthony's the Joel stan on the the show.
Which
is fine.
30 and almost 12 for Giannis. 30 and 12 basically for Giannis. I'm gonna look up Joel Embiid's stats real quick, but it's just ridiculous at this point what Giannis is doing. And again, we've been disrespecting him this year. We've been talking about the two bigs. We've been talking about
about 12 for Joel Embiid is 11.5.
And whose team has more success?
I understand that.
I get it.
I understand that. But if we're talking MVP talking, I know we're not talking that, but I'll just bring it up real quick. My at least top 3 is Joel Embiid, Jokic, and you can put Giannis in there too. And if I had to add a 4, Devin Booker.
You're not even including Luka in there?
Top 4.
Luka, who just got top 3 in the West? Are you kidding me?
I understand that. But you seen what Devin Booker's doing right now?
That's great. And it's helpful that he has Chris Paul back, carrying that load. And I get Devin Booker.
Right, a really good supporting cast. Yeah, I do see what Devin Booker's doing.
Exactly. And look, Phoenix is going to be... Devin Booker should get more consideration. But to act like...
But I don't think he should win it.
No.
I'm not saying he should win it. I'm saying he's at least top 4.
You said top 3. And you were trying
and then I added one person. I added Devin Booker.
Oh.
Top 4.
I don't know, Anthony. You're kind of being a little shaky over there in your decisions.
A little bit.
Just a little. What? I had Luka in my top 7.
And he deserves to be higher, so,
Top 7.
Yes.
I'm not even the Mavs fan on the show, and I think Luka should be higher than that.
Top 5 at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, listen, we're going to get a little off the rails here, but since we are talking about Luka Doncic, You want to switch it over to some Mavericks talk?
Yeah, this doesn't really segue very well, but thank you very much, Cullen. The Mavericks.
I mean, Luka, Mavericks, Dallas. We're about to talk about the Mavericks.
That
Yeah,
does segue very well, actually.
it segues perfectly, but I don't like it because the Mavs lost. The Mavs lost to the Wizards.
Well, that's
And
happens.
that's not a game that we need to lose. I get it.
Revenge game.
I mean, I get it,
the
but
Kristaps Porzingis revenge game.
Ain't that the truth, for real?
Oof. Yeah.
KP's trying to look like New York Nick KP.
Yeah, listen, and he can chill in the lottery all day long, dropping 30 points if he wants to.
Yes, he can.
Because that's pretty much all he's going to do.
Yep.
No Kuzma, no Bradley Beal. Hey, listen, congratulations. You got to win in, so,
The capital city.
yeah, you got to win late in the season. Congratulations.
it hurts the Mavs more than it does help the Wizards, obviously, with the Wizards no longer in playoff contention. But, I mean, I'm still hopeful, obviously. We just got to see what'll happen in the in this stretch of few games that we got with the Warriors, and the whole West is just, could go a million different ways.
Absolutely. And with Steph Curry no longer, it was announced earlier today that he is not playing in the regular season. For the rest of the regular season, he's going to be reevaluated at the start of the
Playoffs
due to his sprained foot.
which
That's good for the Mavericks.
yeah, well, not only is it good for the Mavericks, but in the long run, it's the best idea for Golden State.
100%. Yeah, they want to get refueled, retooled.
And you don't want to
Everything.
use Steph Curry that's
Not 100%.
85%,
Yeah,
then when
absolutely.
you could save him and use him 100% in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and listen, there's a very good chance that if they do fall that 4 seed, that they'll play Phoenix in round 2, and they need a healthy Steph to do that.
Yeah,
So,
they do. For sure.
It could be a very interesting topic. Also, speaking of the Warriors, they are playing. Was it Memphis? Excuse me. Speaking of Western Conference matchups, Phoenix and number 1 seed Phoenix is losing to Memphis right now, 62-60 in
That's a
the
good
third
game.
quarter. Obviously, John Morant's still, I think, taking precautions with that. Listen, I think we've talked about the top 4 for the West in terms of who could potentially come out and fight and represent the West in the finals. Dallas is right there in the mix, and considering where they were a couple years ago, I think it's very impressive for them to be in this position.
I actually saw a stat the other day that said all 3, well, I say 3 because as of, Mavs are third as of now.
They're actually 4, though.
Okay, so whenever I saw it,
Okay.
it's still very impressive. All 3 teams that were at the top of the West were at the bottom of the West I think it said 4 or 5 years ago. The
Yeah.
Grizzlies, the Mavericks,
And the Suns.
and the Suns.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I saw that too. Yeah.
I think that just shows how good the players are and the cast is on those teams.
Yeah, no, and listen, it's an incredible job by those front offices to surround, because each of them have essentially 1-star guy, the main guy, because Phoenix does have a couple of guys that are considered stars with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, but for Memphis, I mean, it's really John Morant and the guys they built around him, with respect to Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, and Dylan Brooks and all those guys. And the Mavericks, I mean, they built around Luka with respect to Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie and some of these guys. So it's a really well done job by these front offices. Hopefully other teams in the NBA will learn from them and try to emulate the success of those 3 teams, and maybe they can be, in the future in the top 3. Well, maybe not for Mavs fans' sake, but listen, it's a very good conversation. But it's openly the NBA season is wrapping up, so we're going to definitely be keeping an eye on it. But another thing we're going to be keeping an eye on is the start of Major League Baseball, and we got some breaking news coming in on April Fools. You always have to double check your news, or at least some of us double check our news, But
There's another bargaining agreement, right?
Yeah.
Right.
April Fools. Listen, the
Baseball.
Los Angeles Dodgers have traded outfielder A.J. Pollock to the White Sox in exchange for all-star relief pitcher Craig Kimbrell.
I don't understand how you can let this happen. How do you let the Dodgers get better? We already talked about them being probably the best batting lineup in baseball.
Hey, man,
And now they probably have the best rotation in baseball.
I mean,
Tyler would agree with me on this. It's L.A., baby.
listen, him and Leighton would.
Hey, man, it's L.A., baby.
I mean, what the hell?
The stars are bright in LA.
So Kimbrel will make 16 million. Excuse me, I don't know why I said 22. 16 million in 2022.
Yeah, but the Dodgers don't actually really have a cap space. Like, it's not actually a thing over there.
Yeah, well, it's baseball, so that's
they're putting it under the rug.
Yeah. So, but listen, and then Pollock is set to earn 10 million and has a 10 million player option that includes a $5 million buyout next year. Kimbrel really shined last year playing for the Chicago Cubs. He posted a .059 ERA with 20 saves en route to earning his 8th career All-Star nod. He was eventually traded to the White Sox, where he wasn't quite the same player, but that's still definitely one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. Kimbrel also replaces, former Los Angeles Dodgers closer Kenley Jansen, who is no longer with the team, who signed with the Braves last month.
It's like
The rich get richer.
I don't even understand it. Like
the rich get richer.
It's like, so the front office doesn't even flip out. It's like, oh, we lost Kenley Jansen. Okay, well, let's see what we can do that I guess every other team has looked
to. And we talked Joel Embiid earlier.
It's like,
trust the process in LA.
You have to.
Trust the process.
And LA just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yeah, they really do.
Well, I will.
Who doesn't want to play in LA?
That's true.
It's very true. It's very fair. Well, I'll tell you who doesn't get hotter. And that is the New York Mets. Man, they got a tough blow this morning.
Yeah, it was. Jacob deGrom, arguably, or inarguably to some people, the best pitcher in baseball when healthy. Jacob deGrom will miss opening day start after an MRI revealed he had a stress reaction in his right scapula, according to the club. There is no timetable for deGrom's return, and it's expected that he will be reevaluated 4 weeks without throwing. He's not going to be throwing any baseballs during this time frame. Obviously, the Mets did add Max Scherzer to the rotation.
Yep.
And they are looking to potentially go far in this upcoming postseason.
Doesn't hurt to have more than one ace, though. I'll say that.
It's true. And the thing that I was reading this article, the difference between 40 starts combined between deGrom and Scherzer is a lot different than 60 starts. And in an NL East division where they're competing with the Philadelphia Phillies, who reloaded this this offseason, to say the least.
True.
The Mets needed, obviously, take care of their star pitcher. But man, are they sitting there being like, "Hey, you better be checking into rehab. We're gonna make sure you're doing everything you can to get back on the field." And it's gonna be very interesting. deGrom, or bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
Yeah,
Didn't have a sneeze button near me.
Yeah, there you go. He does turn 34 in June. He's slowly getting up there in age. He's still an incredible pitcher. He had a just over 1 ERA, struck out 146 in 92 innings. In 2021, two-time Cy Young winner, says he does plan to opt out of his final year. He's expected to owe $30.5 million, so he's looking for one final payday. Hopefully, the best to him and the best of health to him going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just a tough blow, man. It's just, you don't like to see guys like that get injured. I mean, I know we don't have a timetable. And I mean, I guess we really don't know the seriousness of it all, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah. But listen, so we're all about having a good time on this podcast, right? Like we're all about like having good times, good talks. I like to end my corner in hour 2. If you haven't seen it, feel free to go check out hour 2's of previous episodes. I like to end my corner with a feel-good story, something to make you feel good inside. Well, this story that we're about to wrap up hour 1 with is a feel-good story in a different way, because it's just going to make you laugh. Like, it's just going to make you sit there and feel good about yourself. Brian Cashman was recently in an interview talking about, with The Athletic, talking about the Yankees' recent World Series drought.
Well, okay, but Cullen, for those who don't know who Brian Cashman is.
Brian Cashman, the general manager of the New York Yankees. I apologize. Thank you, Kevin, for pointing that out. They're chasing their first World Series title since 2009. It's been a while.
It's a lot of money.
Especially for the New York, what is it, Bankies? I think they're called. The Bankies, the Yankees.
It's a lot of money spent for no rings.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the Kentucky of college basketball. You got all this talent, yet no rings to show for it. Ugh, it's not a good look. Cashman
they got one championship.
Well, that was before Kevin was born. That's how long it's been.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And listen, so you talked about it, and he took a shot at the Houston Astros back in 2017, citing a cheating circumstances. Obviously, anyone who pays attention to baseball knows about the Astros' infamous cheating scandal en route to that World Series. Kevin, you had a really interesting take that I want you to share on the podcast, if you wouldn't mind, sir. Can you go ahead?
So, what take are you talking about exactly? I
No,
make a lot of takes.
Well, no, listen. The one that you specifically had about the way Brian Cashman went about his business. The one that you came in here and was talking about when we were going over the script before the show.
So, in my opinion, look, I get it. Brian Cashman calling out the Astros, he's not going to be the first person in history to call out the Astros for anything, whether that be cheating. I mean, a lot of people just don't like. I think the Astros are probably the undisputed most hated team in baseball for obvious reasons.
Yeah, they're up there.
So I get it. You want to blame it on other people. I understand it. At the same time, it is your job to go win World Series and build a championship roster every single year. You can't blame that on someone else and their circumstances. That's like the end of that's like the end of a high school football championship run. And it's like if you ask a team that won it like 13 years ago or so, and you ask the athletic director, well, why has it been so long? Well, the refs just screw us every year. We always get screwed by the refs. You can't blame it on someone else.
It definitely does get like crybaby vibes.
Yeah, you just like, you know what? These things have happened, but we are going to find our way to retaliate and we're going to figure it out. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, it sounds like, you're kind of right. It sounds like wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, we get it, man. Like, but go figure it out.
But that's the thing. And you could sit there, and again, the Astros cheating, we're not excusing cheating.
And not only that, but they're not even the ones that really got screwed by the whole ordeal in the first place. If anything, that's the Dodgers.
Well, yeah. And again, the Yankees felt like if they would have won, they could have played the Dodgers and beat the Dodgers. Of course, well, every team that plays, if the Astros hadn't cheated that year and cost us a game in July, we could have been the World Series
That one
champion.
game we played the Astros, man, it just, you were 13 games out of the playoffs, okay?
And the biggest thing is, Kevin, and the thing that I wish you had mentioned, that's just 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 1 year.
One year.
I get that it was a circumstance that everyone brings up, and it was just a way to kind of take the shine off of his team's misfortunes. But like Cashman, I get it. He's done a job with an unlimited paycheck. It seems like bringing in all this talent. But at the end of the day, if you don't produce as a general manager, you're going to receive criticism for it, and rightfully so.
And you can't put it on another team,
absolutely,
or a circumstance.
You can. It's just not the right thing to do.
It's not, and hopefully Cashman
just makes you look bad.
Hopefully Cashman will learn a little something from this quote. I just personally thought it was funny when I saw the thing, because I'm like, again, dude, you weren't the only one to experience this, and not only that, you had plenty of other years to try to change it. So,
see, here's my thing. My thing is this: why in the living heck are you going to go on a podcast and just say, "Oh, we have a all-star World Series team"? Yeah, we got a World Series team. We didn't make it to the World Series because the Astros, and that's it. You know that even if you make it to the World Series, you still got a couple more games to play.
Right, exactly.
Like, that doesn't mean that, we're going to win, like, the whole thing. No. You've lost to the Red Sox multiple times in the playoffs.
Yeah, multiple times to multiple teams.
Maybe if the Yankees played the Houston Astros for all 162 games out of the year, then I'd be like, okay, I understand your excuse. But
yeah.
I mean, it's just
they're not even a division rival.
No, they're not.
Listen,
you know what? I think that's why the Rangers didn't make the playoffs. Forget the fact that we lost 100 games. It's because of the Astros.
It's again, everyone can play
in the same state as us. That's why.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm gonna read one last quote from Cashman that he told the Athletic, and then I'm gonna kick it over to Anthony with a score update to leave us out at the end of the hour. The only thing that stopped the 2017 Yankees was something that was so illegal and horrific, Cashman told the Athletic. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009, because I'm like, well, I think we actually did it the right way. Pulled it down, brought it back up, drafted well, traded well, developed well, signed well. The only thing that derailed us was a cheating circumstance that threw us off.
Dude, literally all you've done is spend money, spend money, spend money, spend money, spend money, spend money, spend money.
Yeah, and it's really hard.
Oh, you have a beautiful, great farm system. Let me buy all of your farm system and say that we have a good farm system. No, you spend money, spend money, spend money, spend money.
Yep.
Gotta love it. But listen, Anthony, are you ready with the score update? Take us out, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with the scoring update, Louisville loses to South Carolina to go to the championship game, as we alluded to earlier in the podcast. UConn is up 2. Now they're actually up 4 against Stanford, the number 1 ranked team in this tournament as well. And for your NBA Association games, the Celtics are up 111 to 103 to the Pacers. The Houston Rockets are up 85 to 75 against the Sacramento Kings. It's tied 78 to 78. The Suns against the Grizzlies. The Clippers are beating the Bucks 103 to 82. The Pistons are beating the Oklahoma City Thunder 83 to 61. The Spurs are obliterating the Trailblazers 77 to 49. The Timberwolves are up 42 to 37 against the Nuggets. And the Raptors beat the Magic 102 to 89, with the Wizards beating Kevin's Mavericks 135 to 103. There's a game that's coming up with the Pelicans and the Lakers at 9:30 p.m. You can catch that on NBA TV. And to move it to the NHL real quick, the Blues are losing to the Oilers 4-1. The Predators lost by 1 point to the Sabres 4-3. The Blackhawks lost to the Lightning 5-2. The Rangers lost 0-3 to the Islanders. And coming up at 9 o'clock and 9:30, the Golden Knights take on Cullen's Kraken, and the Ducks go against the Coyotes at 9:30. You can catch those games on ESPN+. Those are your scoring updates with Anthony Council.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful job. Wonderful job. And boys, without any further ado, are y'all ready to kick it off and let's get ready for hour 2. Boys, y'all got anything to say before we head out?
Make sure you turn into hour 2 today. We've got a great list. We got a start, bench, cut, and we've got Kevin talking everything sports from Texas to everything that he loves to talk about. Make sure you tune in. Thank you so much for tuning into the Fools on Stools podcast for hour number 1.
And also, make sure you don't get fooled. Please don't get fooled.
Yeah, don't get Kevin. Don't
get Kevin.
Don't
get Kevin.
Don't
Don't
get
be
Kevin.
me.
Don't get Kevin.
Check your tweets. Check your sources. Don't do me. No, you're better than that. I got fooled. I got fooled
On April Fool's Day.
Without any further ado, boys, I'm ready to kick it off to hour 2. So we'll see y'all later. Peace.